Season 4 Reloaded is here for Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone, and with it comes a lot of new content, weapon changes, bug fixes, and even more. And today we're running down all that you need to know, so as we go along, drop your thoughts. What do you think of this update for Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone? Anything in particular you enjoy that was added? Feel free to let me know. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for more Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, Black Ops 6, X-Defiant, and even more FPS coverage here on the channel. I'd love to have in the community. Finally, this video is brought to you in part by NVIDIA. Check out NVIDIA Reflex on PC for low latency optimization and improved performance in-game, but more on that a little later. For now, let's get into it. So, you know I like to talk about weapon tuning a lot when it comes to day of update videos, because we have previews and everything, sure, that we know about a lot of the content for like a week out before the game's update actually goes live. But with weapon tuning and other actual in-game changes, usually those aren't available until the day of the update itself. So it's always the most new information to discuss. Today, I kind of want to flip things around though on how we normally talk about or present weapon tuning, because today I want to talk about Warzone, because Warzone's weapon tuning with this update was a rather interesting one in that it might be the first time we've seen this happen in Warzone's history, or at least out of a major update like this, touching a ton of different weapons. Maybe I'm misremembering, but to my recollection, this is the first time that every single weapon but one received buffs. Now, most are nominal, most you likely won't notice much in-game, but a surprise no less. I'm sure that you can probably guess which weapon got nerfed, the lone adjustment in that category, but let's break these down. For the assault rifles, we saw adjustments and buffs to the Ball 27, MCW, Holger 556, MTZ 556, and M16 with the Jack Patriot aftermarket part. Again, kind of smaller changes here with this. The Ball 27 saw an increase to the lower torso modifier. The MCW saw a minimum damage increase and increased bullet velocity. I feel like the MCW has been buffed so many times to the point where like they just keep kind of inching it along to maybe it being something at its base capacity, being a decent meta weapon, but it's never quite been the dominant weapon. The Holger 556, we saw some increases to the damage range and increase in the bullet velocity. The MTZ 556 also saw an increase to the bullet velocity, and the M16 Jack Patriot kit saw an increase to the mid damage range. The battle rifles of the MTZ 762 saw a buff to a couple of the damage ranges. The FGX Horus, Striker, and Rival 9 all again saw some increases to some of those ranges. And then the RAL MG, Seiken MG 38, and the HCR 56, all from MW2, saw increases to the ranges, while the RAP H saw a leg modifier increase, bringing that up to an even 1 times multiplier, whereas before it was a 0.95. So you didn't get the full damage per round with the RAP H. The Lockwood Mark II from Modern Warfare 2 with the Jack Warden's conversion saw an increase to the sprint to fire speed. And finally, the last weapon up on deck was the Kar 98K, which saw a decrease in the max damage range, a decrease in the bullet velocity, but most importantly, it modified controller aim assist properties to align with sniper rifles. Now, sniper rifles have a lower amount of aim assist as opposed to marksman rifles. So that was one of the big things with the Kar 98K initially, was that it was a snap-on machine. So it was one thing that got incredibly annoying for players going up against it and grinding Warzone. And I think this is a nice adjustment here that while recording this beforehand, I don't quite know if it will be the be-all end-all fix, but it's definitely a nice first step, I think, at the very least. Now, next, while we're talking about changes, let's talk about another one that can make a huge difference to your Warzone experience. Let's take a second to talk about NVIDIA GPUs. They deliver the highest FPS possible for PC players, and their integrated NVIDIA Reflex settings in-game provides the lowest latency for that competitive edge in Warzone. Why is system latency important? Well, it's that time that it takes for an action to occur in-game and can affect things like how quickly you can spot an enemy, which can lead to you getting the first shot off, something that in Warzone can be rather important. Warzone's a GPU-heavy experience, which puts some stress on modern graphics cards, but with NVIDIA Reflex, it's built to optimize that system latency and not bog down any performance, reducing system latency by up to 28% in Warzone's GPU-bound scenarios. Mix that in with NVIDIA's DLSS features, it's a must-have for gamers looking for the best, most responsive experience. While you get the best performance out of NVIDIA RTX 40 series cards, NVIDIA Reflex is compatible on all GPUs dating back to the 900 series, so you'll be able to get a boost on just about any card you have. I've recommended NVIDIA Reflex for years now, so really happy to get to work with NVIDIA on this one. So that said, don't wait, make sure to enable NVIDIA Reflex to get the best performance out of your games, and thanks to NVIDIA for sponsoring this video. Now, in additional changes to Warzone, we also saw the C4 was adjusted in a kind of large way. It decreased the max damage, outer damage, and max radius of it, decreasing all of those, nerfing it, which is was pretty nice to see. The C4 got a little out of hand here, was getting back to those Verdansk days of C4, but honestly, it kind of felt, at least in my opinion in some cases, might even felt a little stronger than back in the day in Verdansk. It's probably placebo, but like also got killed so many times by it that it just kind of drove me mad. Beyond that, of course, you end up having those pop-off power changes, the sort of key marquee item for Warzone in terms of like a physical change to the Warzone map here, altering that point of interest drastically. The first of which that we've seen since Urzikstan has dropped. I don't know that I necessarily consider like the bunkers to be major point of interest changes because it just adds a couple of tunnelways underneath. It's definitely nice to see increased loot and stuff like that in there and some of the cool stuff they've added like the boots and now specialist bonus coming along with that. But like in terms of general map changes, it's the first big one we've seen since Urzikstan has launched. So nice to see that. Specialist perk package again introduced into Urzikstan in the bunkers. The redacted weapons are coming along, 8 attachments on those weapons in bunkers and in hot zones, and you have mutation resurgence, which we covered yesterday in our everything you need to know video. That's just a sort of like mashup of all the modifier LTMs we've seen in the past, all focused around that new point of interest adjustment in pop-off power. But as for Modern Warfare 3, we of course have the new weapons of the Reclaimer 18 and the Sledgehammer. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that the Sledgehammer also was not a part of that battle pass sector. You only end up having the Reclaimer 18 being associated with that 4 prerequisite challenges for an XP token, large decal, emblem, and finishing move, and then you can end up getting that challenge for the Reclaimer 18, which is to get 5 operator headshots or special zombies critical kills with shotguns. The Sledgehammer is just simply the week 5 completion challenge here. You have to complete 5 challenges in either multiplayer zombies or battle royale, so you can end up getting that as opposed to an aftermarket part this week. And we of course have those new maps of Incline, DOS, Gross, Bit Villa, and Get Higher. You have the new modes and new events alongside that, but let's talk about weapon tuning here because, as mentioned, weapon tuning is the most up-to-date stuff and newest information out of each individual update. And I will say, surprisingly, there were a lot more nerfs in Modern Warfare 3 compared to Warzone, but quantity-wise, not nearly as many weapons were adjusted. In the SMG category, you ended up having nerfs to the ranges for the FJX Horus, and the Scimitar kit actually saw a buff here, which increased the damage range benefit from 35% to 65%. The KV Broadside Jack Jawbreaker conversion kit, this wasn't a buff or nerf, it just fixed an issue causing muzzle attachments to unequip in gameplay. The Car 98K follows the same sort of parameters as what we saw with Warzone, so more of a global change, adjusting the overall strength of the ADS for controller inputs, making it more in line with snipers rather than the marksman rifles. Again, snipers having inherently less aim assist than that of marksman rifles. The Lockwood Mark II Jack Warden's kit saw an increase to the sprint to fire speed, but a decrease to a couple of the ranges. The sniper of the Carrack 300 ended up getting a laundry list of buffs to different ranges, but at the same time, it's not necessarily still anything that's too great. And the Core 45 saw a, again, neither buff nor nerf to it, but just simply fixed an exploit, allowing the Akimbo rear grip to be equipped. We saw a couple of kill streaks adjusted as well, the Mortar Strike being the largest of those that were adjusted. And then to round out Modern Warfare 3 changes outside of, like, again, the top level stuff, one cool thing that we got to see in this update was something that was not previewed at all, but we now have new Grand Mastery items for Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer, Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, and Modern Warfare 2 Zombies. These being calling cards, emblems, and weapon charms for completing every single weapon in the Mastery department. Not camo, but the challenges associated with the camos for getting kills for those weapons. So for example, it's 100 additional kills with Gilded Camo equipped, 200 kills with Forged Camo equipped, 300 for Priceless equipped, and 400 for Interstellar equipped on Modern Warfare 3 weaponry. If you do all of those, you end up getting your completionist charm for that specific weapon, but if you do every single weapon up until the base number, I think it's like, what, 36 or 38 for Modern Warfare 3, 52 for Modern Warfare 2, I think it is, 1,000 kills across all of those, and you do all of that, well, then you end up getting the Grand Mastery rewards, not just simply completing the camos. So a lot to do in order to get those, but Modern Warfare 2 had one for only MP, naturally since we didn't have zombies, but now this adds it in for the remaining final 3 sort of camo sets across the board. So if you had Grand Mastery in any of those modes, these rewards will be retroactively rolling out, so you should have them, hopefully sooner rather than later. Hopefully it just is on your account as soon as you log on, but that is the Modern Warfare 3 content here at this. Zombies, again, we already talked about the Unstable Rift. That's really all there is to it, not really a whole ton to explore beyond that, but that is Season 4 Reloaded in a nutshell, and everything changed out of this update. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of this update here? You like anything in particular, dislike it, whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it, and make sure to subscribe for more Modern Warfare Warfare 3, X-Defiant, Black Ops 6, and other FPS coverage. I love to have you in the community. And again, big thanks to NVIDIA for sponsoring this video. But for now, that is where we're going to wrap it up. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.